100 customers without the ability to receive power, and I will be working to make sure they keep going until 100% of the power is back on everywhere in Nashville. As NES has worked on getting power restored, we know we still have much work to do before people feel restored. We know that fixes to individual homes are ongoing. We know that loss of anything from food to property will take time. As we get close to having all the lights back on, we're able to start work on recovery. Nashville is a remarkable city, and I've already seen and heard so many stories of resilience and kindness over the past few weeks. Yesterday, I joined volunteers and Hands On Nashville to go door to door in neighborhoods impacted by the storm so we can ensure all Nashvillians are supported during recovery. Today, we're launching the Restore Nashville campaign, and we're starting with 3 initial steps to help Nashvillians as we continue to recover from Winter Storm Fern. First, we're opening a couple of avenues to restore Nashvillians' bottom line. Today, I've instructed Metro Water Services and Director Scott Potter to put forth legislation for Metro Council to suspend penalties on water bills. This is something that requires Metro Council approval, but can lighten the financial demand on Nashvillians burdened by this storm. Legislation will state that Metro Water Services will not be doing turnoffs or late fees for February. And if you can't afford to pay a higher bill from dripping faucets, you can pay your normal amount and catch up later. Second, I've instructed Metro Finance to reallocate approximately $750,000 of American Rescue Plan Act funds to the Metro Action Commission to expand the Emergency Winter Housing Assistance Program. This will allow us to serve more than 600 households. To qualify, applicants must meet income eligibility requirements, live in Davidson County, and have been impacted by Winter Storm Fern. The Metro Action Commission will be prioritizing getting aid to those who have the greatest need. In the first hour alone, we received more than 130 applications. I'm pleased to have Metro Action Commission Director Jamika Bice here to talk more about the Eviction and Mortgage Assistance Program. Director Bice.
Good afternoon. Our community has faced extraordinary challenges in the wake of Winter Storm Fern. Families across Davidson County are working hard to recover, and many are unable to cover their housing payments due to hardships caused by Winter Storm Fern. Today, I am proud to share how we are coming together to provide relief and hope. Earlier this week, the Tennessee Titans, through their Home Field Advantage Catalyst Fund, made an incredible commitment to our community. They began with a donation of $250,000 to help launch the Emergency Winter Housing Assistance Program. And now, just 2 days later, Mayor Freddie O'Connell announces that Metro government will allocate an additional $750,000 from unspent American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds for this recovery effort. This comes at a pivotal point for residents affected by the storm and ensures that we can meet the overwhelming demand for help. The Emergency Winter Housing Assistance Program officially opened on Thursday, and as mentioned, in the first hour alone, we received more than 130 applications, and on its second day, we are already at 800 applications. This shows just how great the need is. The program will remain open for 1 week, and we encourage eligible residents to apply as soon as possible. To qualify, applicants must live in Davidson County, have been impacted by Winter Storm Fern, and must meet the income eligibility requirements. Full details are on the website at nashville.gov/EWAP. This program is about more than housing. It's about stability, dignity, and hope. We are deeply grateful to the Tennessee Titans, Mayor O'Connell, and all of our partners for standing with Nashville during this critical time. And finally, we want to say thank you to Metro Action Commission. Our dedication and hard work, dedication and hard work make this possible. Today, we are ensuring that families have the support they need to recover and to build. To our Board of Commissioners, community partners who are also a part of the city's response to this disaster, and residents of Davidson County, thank you for your unwavering support and commitment to our mission. Your partnership makes it possible for us to respond quickly and effectively when our community needs us most. Together, we are not only meeting the immediate needs, but also building a stronger foundation for residents to thrive. We invite you to continue standing with us, whether through advocacy, volunteering, or contribution, so that we can keep delivering hope and stability to those who need it most. Thank you.
Thank you again, Director Bias. We know that will be important. You all have heard already from Legal Aid Society the importance of the eviction right to counsel program. If you need this assistance, please do reach out to the Metro Action Commission. If you wind up confronting eviction, please do show up to court and take advantage of the opportunities through the eviction right to counsel process. The third prong of our Restore Nashville efforts that we're launching today includes opening 2 disaster assistance centers. We'll open them at the Hadley Regional Center and Smith Springs Regional Center. These will be hubs of restoration where we can bring resources to communities and people hard hit by the storm. These assistance centers will have food resources, health resources, staff to connect individuals with social services, and hands-on Nashville. Sometimes you know you need help, but don't know how to get it. If that's the case, please come to a disaster assistance center. You might also learn we have resources available that you hadn't previously heard about. While I was out with Hands on Nashville yesterday, canvassing a neighborhood in North Nashville, we were helping to identify restoration needs caused by the winter storm. We were also looking for people that needed help getting debris to the curb. Tomorrow I'll be out with Hands on Nashville again, clearing that storm debris from the yards of people we've already canvassed this week and getting it to the curb. And you can join us. Just go to hon.org to sign up. Our partner, Hands on Nashville, is projecting more than 100 volunteers. We'll hit neighborhoods for a day of cleanup and progress. We'd love to have you out there with us. And speaking of debris, NDOT has crews sweeping the city as we speak, collecting debris. They'll finish a pass of the entire city in roughly 2 weeks and then return to locations where debris had not yet hit the curb. I've shared with NDOT that I want this debris cleanup to move as fast as possible, and the help of volunteers ensures debris makes it to the curb. Letting NDOT's crews pick it up from there literally lets us weigh it so we can qualify for more FEMA reimbursement. As we speak, NDOT crews are going street by street, picking up debris that's already been placed at the curb. Deputy Director Philip Jones is here to tell us what areas they've already visited and how much progress they've made. Philip?
Good afternoon. I'll just share with you a little bit about the heat map here behind me. This has been conducted of 2 damage assessments we've done throughout the county, and this that you're seeing on this map only represents the right-of-way. This is the down trees, the debris and everything that's within the right-of-way. You've got real dense areas that you see a lot brighter, but I've talked about this in the past. There's not much of the county. Every part of this county from corner to corner has been impacted. So you see the lighter areas, there's still maybe a lot of damage. It's just less dense, more rural areas with not as many streets. This map includes debris and vegetation in the right-of-way, including down trees, documented vegetation. It's where we can keep up with. This kind of helps put the plan together. The mayor's been involved and gives a lot of support to the plan that we've put together to clean this up. 2 observations from the right-of-way perspective is this event was extremely, I say this every time. I've been here since 93 and been involved in a lot of events. This is the biggest event that we've had that's been spread out throughout this county. It also helps inform us of our response and recovery plan with the knowledge of where the hard-hit areas are so we can kind of align forces accordingly. But we do have crews throughout this county right now picking up debris. Today, like each day since the event began, we have crews out working countywide, 58 NDOT and NDOT contractor crews collecting residential brush throughout the county. We've got 11 crews clearing vegetation, debris from roadsides, sidewalks, and bikeways around the city. 5 pothole crews. We've already filled over 1,000 potholes since the onset of this event. 14 contract crews are removing the leaners and hangers that I've spoke about. That's one of the other big differences in this storm and a lot of storms we've had in the past is we're having to deal with a lot of leaners and hangers, and those are very dangerous. So I've asked even during the volunteer efforts that we pay a little closer attention. We're looking up, paying attention to our surroundings because that is a potential safety hazard. I've mentioned, and I know the mayor's talked about it, in order to be eligible for FEMA reimbursement, we are closely monitoring the debris and the removal process. That's a little different than just going out picking it up. We've got monitors out there with these trucks that monitor everything from where they come from, how they go in the truck, and how we dispose of it. And just to kind of give you an idea, since Tuesday, we've picked up 24,000 cubic yards of material from the right-of-way. That's a good start on this. It really is. A standard dump truck holds about 12 cubic yards. So kind of give you a visualization of that, that's 2,000 dump trucks we've already removed out of the right-of-way. And we're going to continue this process. We're working through the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, we'll be clearing out areas. We're trying to get the hard impact areas to give them room to get more debris out. But we have trucks working throughout the county. So if you don't see a truck, we've got one coming. Learn more about our brush collection and special collection at nashville.gov/brush. I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Appreciate you, Philip, and thanks again to the NDOT crews who've been out there working around the clock since before the storm began to pre-treat roads, get plowing done, clear those, not just the stuff that's in the roads, but those leaners and hangers, and now clearing debris from yards and curbside. So Restore Nashville is how we work together to restore what was lost and strengthen the fibers that hold us together as a community. For Davidson County residents who need disaster relief, please tell us what you need so we can get you help. You can tell us in a few ways. Call the free confidential hotline at 211, fill out the needs tracker that we've got set up through our voluntary organizations active in disaster, NashvilleResponds.org. And then, of course, please visit one of our disaster assistance centers. The warming centers at Bellevue Community Center and Madison Community Center remain open 24/7, offering overnight accommodation and meals. We are starting to, as we've gotten down to just a few hundred outages, consolidate those. We're making sure there's always capacity until all lights are back on. We are planning the wind down of Madison. The Office of Emergency Management expects to close that center on Saturday. The one at Southeast Regional Community Center closed operations yesterday, but we will keep Bellevue open until all the lights are on. Again, if you want to support the recovery effort, please volunteer with Hands on Nashville. Find opportunities at HON.org. The Winter Storm Recovery Fund remains open and accepting donations and continues to process requests for assistance. You can get there via the home pages of the United Way of Greater Nashville and the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. And any Nashvilleian who needs assistance can call 211 or visit NashvilleResponds.org. The impact of this storm has called for a massive response, and that's what Restore Nashville will be. And with that, Alex will help us facilitate any questions you have. Alex?
Thank you, and we also have Director Chief Will Swan here who can help as well. Austin, you want to start today?
Sure. I heard from a colleague at the State House that yesterday you were meeting with the Speaker regarding NES about what I don't know. So I just wanted to ask how that meeting went and how you characterize your ongoing conversations with folks at the state level about NES's operations and leadership. I know that's something you talked about earlier this week and last, but
Yeah.
Just wanted to get a finger on the pulse.
Austin, thanks. Yeah, I have a regular series of conversations with the Speaker, with the Governor, with lots of state leaders. I've talked specifically many times throughout this crisis to TEMA Director Patrick Sheehan. Our staff maintains connections to staff and leadership, and in both chambers of the General Assembly. We have regular meetings with the Davidson County delegation in the General Assembly, and then of course Darren Jernigan not only helps us track bills, but again stays in very close contact with his former colleagues. Meeting with the Speaker yesterday, yes, we did touch on NES. He did advise. He's got a caption bill out there looking at utilities. It seems like this is the start of a conversation. I think the state, like us, is interested in accountability in this moment, and I think we're in agreement that all options are on the table right now as we examine how NES performed during this, and so that was the nature of that conversation. I guess, yeah. Yeah, sure.
I just want to clarify if you can or cannot fire the NES board.
I cannot. We do not have the legal authority. What we have explored here is the Metro Council has the ability with a 30-0 vote to remove any individual board member. I certainly always have the opportunity to make public calls on people, but we always like to understand our legal options. I cannot do that. I cannot fire the CEO.
Steve? What was the last you heard of Governor Lee's expedited disaster declaration, and what would those funds go with when we got them?
The initial one, and I'll look to Director Chief Swan to maybe join us for some clarification here. I think the initial one was very limited in the funding it sought. It was approved. I have not seen, Director Chief Swan, if that secondary request has gone up yet. I don't know if you want to come add any clarification. You can do it from there if you like.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, just as the mayor stated, at this point, we're just in a holding state. We met with some FEMA representatives this morning just to talk about debris pickup, and which has already been approved. But as far as it going anywhere else, we're still just in that waiting stage. And I know the mayor had mentioned that we will locally open up some disaster recovery centers to be able to at least give residents and those members of Davidson County resources that will be helpful. So we're all on the same boat. We're waiting, and I know Governor Lee is just as excited as we all are to get that approved so we can all get service in Tennessee. So thank you.
Are there other plans for those funds?
Well, the approved already.
We said the 28. The one from the 28, is that the first or second?
Yeah, that was. I think that was 3.75 million.
It was some. I don't have the exact number, but again, I think at this point, we've all maxed out all of that was asked for or what was given. So I'm sure, not to speak for the governor and not to speak for the mayor, we all are in this boat together, and we just want to try to get the relief as quick as possible. And we're leaning on our federal assistance and our president to assist in that. So thank you.
Steve, I'll just add to that was 3.75 or roughly right around there for the whole state as well, but not something that directs assistance to individuals. So that would be what we're still waiting on. Yeah, Stacy?
Mr. Mayor, has your office extended its contract with BHA Strategy, specifically with Blake Harris, to either lobby or do crisis communication for the mayor's office between NES, the governor, or the legislature?
We did have that contract. It has been extended. It's a general purpose scenario. We know that Blake primarily was. We initiated a contract. We have a contract. Butler Snow focused primarily on the General Assembly. Blake's contract allows him to liaise with the executive branch. We know obviously the governor's office has also had an interest in making sure NES performs well, and so we've had Blake engaged in those conversations.
We also know that NES has a contract with FEMA partners to do communications. We've heard that they've subcontracted out crisis communications. Considering the poor communications, we've seen no evidence that the communication partners have been in front of cameras or expressing people. Do you think that's been a good expenditure of their money?
Hard for me to evaluate just because I don't know anything about the details of that. I'm going based on what we've seen, which, as you note, I think has been insufficient.
When you spoke with the speaker last night, did he say he wants you to call for the resignation of anyone with the board, and if the city didn't take greater steps, that the legislature would take over NES?
We didn't get into detailed steps. I think it was a bigger picture discussion about options, accountability.
Wondering if you've been in contact with the families of the 5 victims that passed away due to the winter storm?
I have not personally. You probably are aware there is a formal notification of next of kin process that occurs. One, wanted to be sensitive because this is a very challenging scenario where we have still been getting updates about, as we look at medical examiner output, just making sure we're clear on cause of death. Was this specifically related to Winter Storm Fern? So as we get forward, we'll probably see what makes the most sense in terms of connecting with people. I know, here's what I can tell you. All of these deaths that have happened in Nashville over the past few weeks are a part of the tragedy of Winter Storm Fern, and we are going to do our very best as a city to acknowledge that.
Anything else? Yeah, come back to Stacy.
Mr. Mayor, I believe it was with Steve Miller, one of my colleagues at WSM before, he'd asked a question about if the FEMA funding didn't come through for disaster relief, we may be able to tap into a rainy day fund. Can you elaborate on what that rainy day fund is, and have we seen any preliminary estimates about what the damage cost from the storm might be at this point?
I mean, everything I've seen is very preliminary, but the early estimates suggest we're tens of millions of dollars over, where our budget would have us. We do, as a result of work begun by Mayor Cooper, continued by our office, our starting director of finance, Kevin Crumbo, reinforced by current finance director, Janine Reed. We have strengthened our fund balance policy, but yes, it ensures that we have a significant rainy day fund available for moments just like this. Now, of course, as you heard Director Chief Swan talk about, and we know the governor is going to do this because Nashville is not the only community in Tennessee that has had a significant impact from the winter storm. I think we had the most significant ice-based impact, but there's broad winter-based impact and precipitation-based impact across Tennessee. We will be aggressively pursuing the possibility of FEMA reimbursement. We're going to be relentless in pursuit of that.
Is that something before FEMA reimbursement goes in, we'd be able to tap into the rainy day fund to take care of immediate things that are needed? And would that require legislative action from the council, or are you able to move that money, as needed?
Well, for instance, one of the reasons back when we saw the first impact of the storm 2 Sundays ago, we did the disaster declaration. That was to enable us to go do some of these extraordinary expenditures. If you talk to Philip and the contracts we've had with NDOT, that was not a part of NDOT's budget for fiscal year 2026. So then if we do tap into that rainy day fund, the fund balance policy does look at a replenishment process for that. Those will all be a part of our FY27 discussions, but we'll be working carefully with Director Reed on how we do this. But there will be some timing issues involved, I'm sure, and we'll have to look at, forecast. There is some risk analysis in there with the FEMA reimbursement process.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, because I guess I don't understand well, for the 5 victims, the government, your government, will be helping the families through the situation for...
It depends on what their needs are. In some cases, the families may just go through the grieving process and have all their needs met for everything from burial to memorial services and so forth. We do need, I think one of the hardest parts here is we know there have been other things happening as a backdrop to this. We've gotten some this week tough employment news, right? There are other things happening in the broader American economy. We know those are impacting Nashvillians in some cases. Winter Storm Fern has impacted Nashvillians, but you heard Director Bice talk about that rental assistance program. That money is being allocated to those who have been impacted by Winter Storm Fern. We know this tragic number of deaths. It's been tough because I've heard it could be 3 to 5 storm-related deaths, and so we're still having to do that technical analysis. But I will say my heart goes out to all 5, and if they need assistance, we're going to be working on making sure they, like everybody else, is part of this restoration process.
Yeah. Did that answer your question? And certainly if they have a need, let us know so we can try to help them in any way that we can. Yeah. Steve or Araceli?
Next week, Metro Council will have a special meeting with NES leadership. Are you planning to be in attendance?
So I don't know that I'll attend that in person just because very rarely do I wind up involving myself in the business of the Metro Council. Every now and then for special moments when we have a message from the mayor or something like that, we'll typically engage in that way with the vice mayor. I think this one is a joint committee process. We will very likely have appropriate staff there that have been involved in our response. I think Metro Water may be one of the organizations presenting in that committee meeting. But I'll say, too, we've also met independently with NES executive leadership and board chair. We continue to engage almost daily with that process. So I don't think there's anything specific about that meeting that I will need to attend in person.
Let's do one more. We'll finish with Steve.
Can you talk about the specific, any specific assistance or financial assistance, resources for small businesses affected by the storm?
We've been evaluating that. Some of that very likely comes through the FEMA process. Very often the Small Business Administration comes in disasters like that. We have had our Office of Economic and Community Development doing some analysis of what is possible. It is not a complete program yet, but we'll hopefully, as we continue development of the Restore Nashville process, we'll have some guidance for small business there.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.